Hi there and welcome. I'm Rebecca Weaver and I'm going to be adding and subtracting polynomials today. The first question we need to ask ourselves is, what is a polynomial? Well, a polynomial is any monomial or two or more monomials combined by addition or subtraction. A monomial, since we don't know what that is yet, is a term of the form ax raised to the m, where a is a constant and m is a positive whole number. So let's look at a few examples. A monomial, mono meaning one, is a polynomial with exactly one term. Examples of this would be like 5 or 3x squared. A binomial is a polynomial with exactly two terms. Bi means two, such as x plus 5, so there are two things being added together there, or 3x squared plus y. There's also two things being added together there. A trinomial is a polynomial with exactly three terms. So we have an x squared guy, an x, and a 5. That's three separate terms. 3x squared is a term, y is a term, and 1 is a term. That's another example of a trinomial. A polynomial can have more than three terms too. It can have a bunch. There's a polynomial right there. So let's look at some polynomial types. And we need to determine whether each polynomial is a monomial, binomial, or a trinomial. So let's go. 5x plus 4. Two terms there. 2 means bi. That's a binomial. B. One thing there. That's got to be a monomial. X cubed y to the 5th. There's one term. Minus 4. There's another term. There's two terms there. Binomial. Whew. Minus 4x squared y cubed z to the 4th. There's only one thing there. It's a monomial. Here I have three things being added together. This is a trinomial. Sometimes you're going to be asked, what's the degree of a polynomial? To determine the degree of a polynomial, find the degree of each term. The degree of each term now is the sum of the exponents of its variables. The degree of the polynomial is the highest degree of all of its terms. So if we were to look at an example, such as 5x plus 4, let's break this down. Look at each of the terms. 5x is the same as 5x to the first because it just said to look at the exponent of the variables. So that means that this first term is of degree 1. 4, and then there's no variable, so I just wrote x to the 0 because that'd be the same thing as 1 there. That would be of degree 0. So that means the degree of the polynomial is the highest degree of all its terms. This polynomial has to be of degree 1. If I look at y cubed plus x y to the 4th, look at each individual term. Now, y cubed, that is going to be of degree 3. Let's look at x y to the 4th. I can write that x as x to the 1st, y to the 4th. This is of degree 5. Then that would mean that this polynomial is of degree 5. Now the point of all this is that we can add and subtract. So we need to add and subtract like terms, just like we always do. Nothing's really different. 5x plus 4x, add like terms. That's 9x. If I have negative 15p squared minus 5p squared, that's like terms. That's negative 20p squared. If I have 5x squared plus 4x squared y squared minus y squared, hey, there's no like terms there. That has to be, the variable section has to be identical, and there's nothing there that has the same chunk. Let's look at 5x squared plus 4x squared y squared minus y squared minus 6x squared minus y squared. Wow. Let's distribute that negative first, because that's what we're going to need to do whenever we add or subtract. If there's plus sign, then that one's easy, but if I have the negative sign, I have to distribute that negative, and that's what we tend to miss. Notice I went minus a 6x squared. There's what I wrote when I got rid of the parentheses. And then I had to say minus a minus y squared. Minus a minus y makes it a plus y squared. That's where we usually tend to see our mistakes. Now, I've got this all broken apart. So I want to see, do I have any like terms? But if I look at 5x squared and the minus 6x squared, I see that I do have like terms. 5x squared minus 6x squared is negative x squared. So let's see what else I got. Ooh, look at there. I've got a y squared there, minus y squared, and a plus y squared. Hey, those guys add up to 0. This thing is done. All right, if you have any questions, you be sure and email me rweaver10@alaska.edu. Thank you and have a wonderful day.